with us about the prospect of moving to Canada from Ukraine. And in some ways, I think it probably seemed like it crawled for those that were, for Eugene and Irene and for the kids. But they're here, and Eugene has been very involved. And when they first made contact, they were living in the Donetsk area, which is where all the trouble has been. Hadn't quite yet built up there, and I'll let Eugene talk about that. So I'm going to turn the time over to Eugene and let him talk about it.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about Ukraine. I hope you don't have very high expectations of this presentation. I just wanted to share some pictures of the places where we used to live and where we met people, where we worship, and maybe tell you more about Ukraine. And if you have any questions along the process, you're most welcome to ask them. So here is pretty much what Ukraine looks like, and the reason for this picture is that it's also these colors are the colors of the national flag of Ukraine, blue and yellow, and you will see more of them during this presentation. That's just an outline of the country with the national flag. As you can see, the total area is over 600 square kilometers, and the estimate for population for 2014 was over 44 million. Now they say it's about 43 million, a little less than that. That's what Ukraine looks like on the European map. It borders on Russia. It has about 2,000 kilometers of common border with Russia, also on Belarus on the north, and Poland, Slovakia on the west, Black Sea in the south. And courtesy of Diana Turner, if you compare Ukraine to Canada, that's about the size Ukraine has. So we used to live primarily all our life in this region, about here. Here is Donetsk and Lugansk, major cities in that area. The capital is right there, Kyiv. And about a year ago we moved to the western part of the country, to Ternopil. It's not on the map, but it's right over there. Just another map of Ukraine with 24 regions. Major cities, like I said, are Donetsk here in the eastern part of Ukraine, Odessa, a major port at the Black Sea, Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkov, Kyiv, and Lviv. You can see it in the utmost western part of Ukraine. That's a children's picture, but you can see national garments. Embroidered shirts are very popular. They are worn for special occasions, weddings, holidays, different hairbands of different colors. And like Wayne was telling us the other day about sharing common meal together, that's a very common tradition of meeting guests with bread and some salt. So that's very common. And just some pictures from the place where we used to live. It's just driving in the fields, and I'm sure it is very much like Saskatchewan and maybe Alberta. traffic markings are white in Ukraine. For some reason, we don't have yellow ones. That's why it was confusing to me. I'm sure you are familiar with Ukrainian food, and you had most of it. Borscht with sour cream. And for some reason, they are called pierogies here, but they are really not. They are called vareniki because they are boiled. They have different fillings like potatoes, meat, cheese, and they are served with sour cream and fried onions. So, very good ones. Potato pancakes, that they're also very popular there. That's chicken cutlet a la Kiev, if you heard that. So that's basically chicken fillet stuffed with butter inside.
You're making us really hungry.
These sandwiches after aren't going to do much for us.
That's beverage. It's a dairy product. It's thinner than Greek yogurt, and it's baked. It's not as sour as Greek yogurt, so it's also very common. That's one of the cities where we used to live, and actually where my parents are living right now. It's on the occupied territory, and that's the city where Bear Valley Bible Institute was. That's how the building looked like. I hope it's still there. It was seized about a year ago, and actually it happened during the Sunday worship. People with machine guns just came, gave them a couple of hours to leave the building and get some of their stuff, and that was it. So on paper it still belongs to the church and to the institute, but in reality it's not. And the church used to meet in the same building, and here is a picture of our friends, Dennis and his wife Vera. He used to be a dean of the extension of Bear Valley Bible Institute there, and later they relocated to Ternopil with us, and we rented a place for the institute, and that's where they work right now. Their daughter, second daughter, was born in Gorlovka, and they had to move when she was 3 months old. So she spent most of her life in Ternopil right now. Just some pictures of the building. It's almost in downtown Gorlovka, and Gorlovka is about 500,000 people, but it's very widespread. It's a large mining community. There are many coal mines in the area. Some machine building, and a huge chemical plant in the city. It's about 30 kilometers from Donetsk, and Donetsk is about 1 million people, a little less than that. That's our auditorium where the church used to worship, and we had about 40 people there. This is Andrei and his wife. He used to preach for Gorlovka congregation, and he now lives in Kiev region and preaches for the church there. Just pictures of some students and my colleagues. And here are some students and preachers from local congregations. There used to be about 50 churches of Christ in Donetsk region alone, but small congregations, maybe from 20 to 50 people in average. And that gentleman over there came from Syktyvkar, that's in the north of Russia, for a seminar that the congregation in Gorlovka was hosting. And that gentleman here he preaches for a small congregation in Brewston, Tennessee. But he has been coming to Ukraine since the fall of Soviet Union, since 1989. And that's the students of the school in the new building in Ternopil that we rented and renovated. And that's where the church gathers right now. Another city, a little one, in Donetsk region, Krasny Liman, and there is a small congregation there, and we used to come there quite often. Just some pictures from there. It's a city of about 20,000 people, and they have a major railway station. So many cargoes go through that city, and that's basically what the city is all about. A small market near the train station where local farmers bring their produce. And coal being transported. That's an Russian Orthodox church, but it wasn't functioning at the moment, I think. So that's a monument to World War II in Krasny Liman, because that part of Ukraine was occupied by Germans from 1941 to 1943, and almost all huge fightings took place around that area. So many people from different Soviet republics fell there, and that's a little monument to soldiers who fell in Afghanistan during Soviet Union time. And pictures of some church members in Krasny Liman. Now they meet in one of the Christian ladies' homes. So it looks like that. Her name is Valentina. She's very hospitable, likes to cook and feed everyone. So it looks more like, you know, a Bible study, a home study. So they're very close and know each other well. A friend of mine, Victor, he preaches for that congregation, and that gentleman there, a good friend of mine, he preaches for a congregation in Christiansburg, Virginia, and they have been supporting that congregation here for some time. That's actually a baptism at the local lake. One of the ladies decided to be baptized, and they don't do it often, but for some reason it was a good day, you know, hot weather, and she decided to be baptized there. And a meal together afterwards. And that's the museum where they used to rent a room for Sunday worships for some time. So it was fun, you know, to worship with all the paintings on the walls. And they were different, you know, every week you come and they changed the exhibitions. Another town, Svetogorsk, there used to be a congregation there, but it was small and many people passed away, and it's not there any longer. And another reason for that is that Svetogorsk is a place of a huge Orthodox monastery, and it was supported by the government, and they rebuilt and reconstructed it. It dates back to the 17th century, I believe, and it's on the rock. It has a lot of caves that go up the mountain, so it's very nice and picturesque there. And this is also a resort area where there are a lot of recreation facilities for children and adults. And many companies own summer camps there and send their employees, children there for summer. So it's like a tourist destination in Donetsk region. That was the building of the church in Svetogorsk. They sold it some time ago. And it was taken inside the monastery, and women are required to cover their heads there. That's why. And that chapel over there is on the rock, so there are no elevators or anything. You have to climb up there. Maybe, you know, to become more patient or something. That's a World War II tank. It sank in the river, and they pulled it out and put it on the pedestal as a monument. A bigger city nearby, Slavyansk. There is a small congregation there of about 40 people, but that congregation was started in 1989, so right after the fall of the Soviet Union, and it was, I believe, the first congregation in Ukraine that was started. So that's the assembly hall. It was on a weekday, just a little Bible class, and so we studied together. Kramatorsk, that's the city where I used to go to the university and where we lived. That's an apartment building, and the church owns the first floor and the basement. So that basically belongs to the church, and there are apartments on top of that. And in December 2013, we bought an apartment right here. So these were our windows there, very close to the church. That was the main reason behind it. Some pictures of Christians there. Our friends Vlad and Oksana and their children keep preachers for this congregation in Kramatorsk. And that's the monument to Vladimir Lenin in downtown of Kramatorsk. That picture was taken, I guess, 2 years ago. And this picture was taken a week ago.
A week ago.
So it's rather recent. So Ukraine has recently passed a law about getting rid of all symbols of communist past, and the Communist Party was banned before. So I don't think it was done, you know, according with the law, but it was just some people getting together and decided to getting rid of that. A men's meeting in Kramatorsk. Many young guys. There were 2 congregations in Kramatorsk, and we often worshiped together and had common classes. We used to distribute some Christian literature in the streets, and my wife used to teach her children's Bible and English class, and here are some pictures of that work. Donetsk, as I said, is a major city, our provincial capital, about 1 million people. Now it's also on the occupied territory. Just some pictures of that city to give you an idea what it looked like. And, there are many mines, and metallurgic industry is a big thing in Donetsk, as well as machine building.
What's the dominant religion there?
I would say Russian Orthodox. Many people claim to be Orthodox Christians, but they go to church only a couple of times per year on special holidays. Trams and trolleybuses are very common. So there are some buses, no subway. That's a recently built soccer arena. We hosted European Championship in 2012. And that's the arena from the outside. Donetsk Shakhtar is the soccer team from that city. This is a picture of the students of Ukrainian Bible Institute that used to be located in Donetsk, and they relocated to Kiev. So there is a group of Christians there who had to move as well. Ternopil, in the western part of Ukraine, is a much older city. It was started, I believe, in the 16th or 17th century, and it has a lot of history. That territory used to belong to Lithuania, Austria, Poland, then Soviet Union. So it has some very nice old wooden buildings. That's a monument to Danilo Galitsky, a duke from the 13th century who fought against Mongols. That's a picture from downtown Ternopil. That's the first day of school, and I just wanted to show you the embroidered shirts that children wore to school, and my wife made them. And that's the congregation from Ternopil. They have about 50 people. Very nice and very friendly group of Christians. His name is Alexander, and he preaches for that congregation. He enjoys his fishing, but I'm not sure if it's his fish or not. His wife, Olga, she teaches children's classes, and she does a good job of that. And that's the situation in the eastern part of Ukraine. So that's a part of Lugansk and Donetsk region that are occupied right now, and Lugansk and Donetsk region themselves. So Krasny Liman, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Drushkovka, that's the city where my parents live, and Donetsk is right here, and Gorlovka that you saw is right here.
Which is the Crimea on that map that Russia said was theirs?
It's not. That's actually from Kramatorsk. From where the church is located. And that's, to give you an idea how big that thing was. It's a rocket from a rocket launch system. It's 30 centimeters in diameter, and it's 7 meters, 60 centimeters long. Some barricades, and these guys claim to be Russian Orthodox Army. I'm not sure what it meant. And some pictures from Donetsk. Well, maybe you cannot tell, but those guys are from Chechnya, from Russia, and they have different features that differentiate them from Ukrainians. So they just came to fight for that side,
Who did they fight for, Russia or for you?
for Russia.
And yet they want their independence too, and they were fighting Russia.
Now, so all people who of the National Airport, some pictures before and after. There were some pretty severe fightings. Hope you cannot see the whole thing, but that's an elderly couple in the downtown of Donetsk. Apparently that military vehicle was blown up, and just looking at it. That's a fire, I think, ice hockey arena. There was hit by a rocket or a mine, and it got on fire. That's a man cleaning the debris from his apartment. And a car hit by shells. And that's picture here from Rostov region, Russia, that borders on the Donetsk region. So that's what everybody is afraid of. And I have a 7-minute video that Diana shared with me. It was taken by New York Times. Here what is like.
Это было очень страшно. Ребенок, когда сидел во дворе, говорил, что это. Мама говорит, если на нас попадет, нас убьет. Что ребенку скажешь?
Разбиты все коммуникации, вся инфраструктура, разбито все. Нет ни школы, ни образования, ни медицины, ничего.
The end of hostilities is not the end of this story. It's really the beginning of a humanitarian crisis that the world needs to wake up and respond to.
Вот умирает. Не выезжали и тогда.
25,000 IDPs, and more than 100 people daily bringing stuff for IDPs.
Everything we had our flat, we had good life, but now we don't have nothing. We are nothing.
Ну, мы приехали 4 февраля сюда, в Киев. Ну, через знакомых. Ну, нас поселили вот здесь, ну, 3 недели здесь живем. Мы все приехали, 50 человек из Углегорска, 18 детей у нас.
Мы никогда не думали, что у нас может быть военные действия, либо отобрана одна часть страны.
Конечно, здесь остаться. Здесь родились, крестились, поэтому здесь остались. 10 попаданий в сам дом и 12 по периметру. Да. Ну вот же вы стояли, вот тут ураган упал. Это пожар, когда был, расплавленный алюминий стекал. Это вылилось как образ. Старец с посохом и Мадонна с младенцем. Вот как она такое получилось? На этой буржуйке насколько фантазии хватит из тех продуктов? Все что угодно, макаронные изделия, кашу, уху из консервов варили. Если бы сильно себя настраивать, что на пессимизм, просто тяжело было бы. Просто друг друга поддерживать. Самое элементарное, просто выкупаться, привести себя в порядок, сбрить вот этого вот будула, вот эту бороду.
Это Тарас Григорьевич Шевченко, украинский писатель. Сделал татуировку, получается, эту, ну и это взялся. Вот, ты понимаешь, что тебе будет, это нельзя так делать, сейчас не по времени. Ко мне подошел Женя папа, говорит, он очень проукраинский, он прям злостно так ко всем ругался. Говорит, ты понимаешь, что тебя за таможенные могут убить? Ну, сначала сестра моя жила с мужем в Луганске тоже. Ну, они, конечно, были тоже пророссийские, ну, часть людей, которые подались этому быдловскому влиянию, конечно. Вот, это все фашисты, очень сильно конфликтовали, мы перестали даже общаться на какое-то время, вот, пока они в Россию не уехали. Потому что они сказали, что жизнь в этой стране не будет. Они собрались, они уехали. Вот если бы так все поступали, вот те, которые любят Россию, было бы, конечно, хорошо. За это, конечно, вот я их уважаю. Я, конечно, надеюсь вернуться, только если все закончится, то когда все закончится, когда восстановится наконец-то. В ближайшее время нет.
Thank you. That's everything I had. So thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions,
Yeah.
sure.
Did the people get some food and stuff back, like after this incident all happened, did they get the food and clothes that's muchly needed there?
It's hard to answer because
Yeah.
we haven't been living there, but it's more difficult to get the food, and it's more expensive right now. So those people who could afford, they left.
Yeah.
And those who couldn't, they stayed.
Yes.
So for many, it's very hard to get by.
Why don't you explain what people have to do to get money?
You know, many people who were retired, they used to receive their money from the government, and when they live now on the occupied territory, they had to go to Ukraine, get registered there, and receive their money there, because Ukrainian banks are closed on the occupied territory, and there is no way to bring money there. So it's basically many people, you know, depend on themselves, on their family, friends.
Tell us a little bit about your life. How did you meet your wife? Where did you go to school? What was your childhood like?
He was a journalist.
We met in Svetogorsk, in that place with Russian Orthodox monastery. We used to work as interpreters for a Christian group that we just went from camp to camp, teaching the kids the Bible and making crafts, singing songs, that kind of thing. I was born in Drushkovka near Kramatorsk, so basically in the same region. I went to school in Kramatorsk, studied languages there, and then after her childhood, her dad was a military man, and she spent most of her childhood in the Caucasus, in Azerbaijan and Armenia. And later on they moved to Lugansk region. After we got married, we used to live in Drushkovka, where we worked. She worked as a school teacher, and I worked for that mining company. And our children studied school there, well, some of them. And then we moved to Gorlovka, and then to Kramatorsk, and then to Ternopil. So it's the 5th school for our son here.
And was it hard to make the decision? If the war hadn't happened, would you have still made the decision to come to Canada?
It was difficult because, you know, before the conflict, because our parents are there, and they're very attached to our children, and vice versa. So, and it's still hard. But when the conflict started, and when the process was successful, we decided to give it a chance and see where it may lead us. But
it had to be a very hard decision to leave your family.
It is, sir. It is. But we keep in touch almost every day by Skype. So, but for the time difference, you know, we see each other a lot.
Well, I'm glad you came to Canada.
Thank you, sir.
How many people have done what your family has done? You just, I don't know if it's fair to say, given up on trying to live there and moved elsewhere?
I think, like, I'm not sure if they mentioned it in the video, about 1.2 million people relocated from those areas elsewhere. Some went to Russia, some went to other places within Ukraine. And the reason why, you know, that was very hard to understand for many people, because many people have relatives in Russia and friends, you know, people they used to go to school with, because during the Soviet Union time, you know, like my parents met in St. Petersburg, Russia. My father is from Latvia, my mother is from Ukraine, so they just went there to go to school, university, and they worked there, and, you know. So it was very hard for many people in Ukraine to understand why that is happening and to fight against Russians. But the general feeling right now is that there's going to be a major conflict, and everybody is getting ready to that, unfortunately.
When I was working, a good friend of mine, when he retired, he went into collecting medical supplies and took them to Kiev. Once a year he would take a big load of medical supplies, like wheelchairs, special benches for sick people, operating tables, and as many surgical as much surgical equipment that he could get free that was still current. And every year he would take this to Kiev. And I lost track of him, but I know he's still doing it.
Was he from the United States or
Where was he
from Canada?
From Canada or from US?
He was a Mennonite, so he
He's from
I
who
don't
knows
know,
where.
somewhere in that area.
From Mexico.
No, he wasn't from Mexico. He was from that area.
From the Church of Christ, or just your family from the Church of Christ, or were they Orthodox?
Who?
Is all your family from the Church of Christ?
No, they're not. It's still hard for my parents. They sympathize, I guess, but they were born during the Soviet Union time, where the religion was not completely banned, but it was looked down upon. So it wasn't taught at school or anywhere, and people didn't have Bibles at home. So for my father, it's still something that he doesn't completely get. And my mom would go to church, but she doesn't, unfortunately. Maybe it will change. But the same is with my wife's parents. Her mother is Russian Orthodox and her sister is. They're very nice people, but they choose to believe that.
Hey, Eugene, is there a verse that has helped you to cope with everything you've gone through in the Bible?
I can't think of it right now, but in general, support of so many different people, and your support as well, and your prayers, we could feel that, and we do appreciate that.
Did you ever meet Rick Pinchuk when you were there?
No, I haven't. I heard the name, and I know that he used to work with the congregation in Kiev, but I've never met him in person. Yes, ma'am.
So how did you come to the church? Like, how did you know?
I was studying at the University of Languages, and we had some missionaries from the US who came with lectures, and I got interested. And, I was actually baptized by a preacher from Montreal, Canada. He was of Italian background.